Welcome back to another episode of the That's Rank podcast where we I'm going to say that again.
Keep that in. Keep that in. That's the thrill of live performance.
Your mouth literally almost made like a record squeak noise. Like you.
I thought you were me. Like having a stroke. I could smell toast. I was like, whoa, God.
Oh, no. You've done so many of these, and that's the one I missed. Okay, I will. Okay, I'll keep it in, and then we'll start a proper now. Welcome back.
Welcome
to That's...
Sorry, go on.
Welcome back to the That's Rank podcast, the podcast where we rank your ideas on the fly, available on Apple Music and Spotify, all the good stuff. My name is Liam.
My name is Rob.
I'm Ben.
Ben's back. Yay. Oh, I like having Ben here. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Great. We've already been chatting off air.
We have,
chatting about juicy stuff that's not for the podcast. So I'm raring to go.
No, but once we get a Patreon, we'll record all of it. You can listen to it for a fee.
That's a good plug. How much can people sign up for a Patreon fee?
Well, if you pay just $5 a month, then you can get all the content that we release beforehand. We talk about all sorts of things, like what, Ben?
We off air or on air?
No, behind the paywall.
Oh, behind the paywall. Yeah. You name it. All the
all the regular stuff.
Yeah, all the regular juvenile.
Stuff. Exactly right. That's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, we love a bit of juvenility here, don't we?
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere. But no, what we do here on the That's Rank podcast, because last time we didn't actually do this until like 20 minutes into the episode, is we spin this wheel back here. There it is. And we get an idea from one of you lovely listeners, and we have to think about it on the fly, and we have to rank it. We will have 5 minutes each to put something together and battle to the death as to who is going to win, who's going to be the victor of this particular episode. Now, Mr. Rob, I have a question for you.
Yes. I have an answer for you.
Ideas for the wheel. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Fantastic. This wheel needs some more ideas. Where can people get in touch with us and give us their ideas? Please let us know.
Well, absolutely. We would love our listeners to write in to thatsrankpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Instagram, at YouTube. I think they're the main places. They're the main places. And at Patreon, which if you go to thatsrankpod at Patreon, it probably won't currently exist, but...
We'll have to set it up now. It's good though. It's good. I have to set it up because like now what's happening is you've just forced that into the ether, which is fantastic because now I have to do it so everyone can listen to our shit and piss content.
In the meantime, I'll run my own personal BSB and account number. My own personal BSB and account number. You can send money directly to Robert Pollard at
Do we get a cut of that or no?
Time will tell then. Time will tell.
Okay, fair enough. TikTok, no, Ben. Like I think TikTok for us is just a step
Tiki-toki?
Tiki-toki? No, I think we've stayed off the TikTok. Maybe we should get back on the Tiki-toki. Maybe we should. I say get back on it.
No time like the present. Tiki-toki.
The old Tiki-toki.
It's a funny.
I think
it's a funny thing to name a time-wasting app, isn't it? TikTok. Like I've never actually thought about the name.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
That's what it is. That's what it does. It literally just, it sucks your time. But TikTok is an analog clock as well, which I quite like.
Like, what is it? Sands through the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. TikTok. I mean, one is like someone on there like, TikTok.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if just in between every TikTok it just had a person going, TikTok. Yeah.
The data would show they'd be like drop-off rates suddenly hit a spike, and you're like, this is creepy above all else. Like, all right, mate. I've got death anxiety as it is. I don't need to be reminded of my mortality. Thanks very much. I might join up now, though. I'm not on TikTok, but after that, I'd definitely be in. Yeah,
I might do that. I
love a deadline.
Oh man, no, it can't be done. It can't be done. I think we'll get too deep into it, and then it's going to be a problem. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what it is. That's why we stay away from the TikTok.
Oh God, I'm showing my age here, but like, isn't that what Vine was when it first came out? It was just like short videos.
Yeah.
Like But it's
Yeah,
just
but
sort of come full circle again. And
I think Vine.
It was before its time, Ben. It was before its time.
Vine was one of the great ball drops of all time. A little bit like MySpace, a little bit like Skype. Vine also massively dropped the ball.
In what way? Just they did it
before, like TikTok. You know, everyone's crazy about TikTok, but it was just Vine before it was TikTok. You need to drop yourself a Vine. You know, have you seen that latest Vine?
I feel like the Vine was in the vernacular for maybe 5 days,
probably,
and then it was.
You know what? It was missing someone going TikTok. It's so funny because someone just goes Vine.
It's like a grape on the vine, isn't it? Just kind of withering or dying. It's like, you're on the vine. TikTok. Oh, that's actually better.
Like grapes on the vine. These are the days of our lives.
Takes a picture of you. Takes a picture of you, and the vine just starts wrapping around you. Takes a picture of you and just starts wrapping. And you're like, oh God, oh, I'm being constricted by the vine. Oh no.
Grape-like skin become a raisin slowly. That's what we want in advertising and marketing.
Absolutely.
I know the way to do this. Yeah,
that sounds more like a
slowly
wine
turn into
me.
A raisin while I Just a pool of wine blood underneath you as you slowly hollow out. So, guys, that was my pitch. Let me know if you're interested.
Oh, all right. Well, should we spin this? We're on a fucking roll. Let's spin this thing. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm a spinner. Big wheels keep on turning. Mirror keep on burning.
Good wheel.
Quite satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
Number 23. I can't remember the last time we had something in the 20s.
Liam's a very good spinner of the wheel as well. Like he really gets some pace and some good spin. Yep.
I've been watching lots of Wheel of Fortune in preparation for this. Like it's really good.
Adriana?
Not ready. Number 23 is sent in to us by listener Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. We are listening. Thanks, Lisa. We are ranking tonight the worst tasting food. The worst tasting food. This is quite a journey we've gone on already. From Baby John to we're going to talk about food now.
We talked about something earlier that tasted awful.
Oh, it's true. Actually, we did talk about this beforehand. Right.
So this was on this. I mean, I'm just going to bring it right up because we were off pod.
Do it.
Oh,
we were talking about juvenile things, but there is a linkage to worst tasting things because I was recently watching an Instagram document. I was recently watching a documentary called An Instagram Story, which went for about 45 seconds, and it was about an ex-adult film star in Japan who opened up a curry restaurant and the curry smelled of poo. Did you know this?
Oh, what?
Did you know this? Yeah.
Wait, was it? No, I didn't know this.
And there was a story because surprisingly the restaurant closed due to poor business.
Surprisingly.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Why? Why? For what reason? What possible reason could there be? Wait a second. Was that the shtick? Was that like the whole thing of the whole idea was like, I'm gonna make this fucking delicious curry.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was delicious. Like it smelled like poo.
How
did we get onto this?
You started it, mate.
Yeah, that's true. But
you started talking about your Instagram documentary after I.
Yeah, I feel like there was a better tangent. I feel like I'm.
I'm just full of so many questions. Like, who said? Like, how do you get funding for that? You go to a bank manager and kind of go, "Listen, so the premise is a beautiful curry. Your mouth will be delighted, but your nostrils, shit. Like, how do you get? You know, he's like, sign me up. That's bizarre.
But what's the purpose of this though? Is the smell designed to surprise you with how good the taste is? Like, what's the?
It's just a gimmick. It's just.
But
they're
so linked. But that's the thing. It's so linked.
So that's why I don't think it is delicious curry. I don't think it's delicious at all. I think it was bad curry. I think it was bad curry.
Oh, well, there are some pretty disgusting smelling things that taste okay.
It's true.
And I don't want to divulge too much in case that's where anyone.
I just want to know, like, how do you
There's
advertise specials? Like, so if it's a curry restaurant that tastes like poo, like, are you just going for the different types of smelling poo? You know, and so it's instead of this week the chef's been preparing. It's like this week the chef's been eating cabbage. This week the chef's been eating burgers, and you're like, oh, burgers. That's going to be a strong curry this week, you know. Whereas, cabbage curry, that's not too bad. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Who needs a paywall for the childish shit?
I don't know.
It sounds like an extreme episode of like Gordon Ramsay or something, where they're like, and Gordon Ramsay would just be like, "What?" And they're like, "No, Gordon, you obviously don't get it, mate. So what I'm doing is I'm making a beautiful curry, but it smells like shit." And he's like, "No, I get it. It's a terrible idea." And I want to see. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for those people who like open the restaurant and then just watch people like kind of go, no, this is a terrible idea, isn't it? Yeah, no one's finishing their meals. I don't know why I thought this was a great idea. Like, no, there's no good word of mouth. It doesn't have the same kind of thing. Like if you go to a restaurant that says, we're so fatty, you know, like in America, you get those ones where it's it's a heart attack or it's the,
it's a heart attack grill. Yeah.
At least you get to be a glutton or whatever and enjoy it before death. But whereas this, it's like, what's your idea is just to make people not enjoy food.
Tastes great, smells like shit. I mean, it's a tagline that can only do well. It can only do well.
Well, it didn't. It's closed.
It didn't. It closed.
No, it closed. It closed down. That's what the video was about.
It's relocated. You guys don't know about it. It's inside.
No, I think that's just shit. Like the restaurant isn't nearby. It's just dirty dog down the road.
Yeah. Did you have any of that curry? What was it like? It was a shit. Yeah, it was a shit. It was. Like, probably more of an descriptive term, actually.
But like, who's going like, loved it or awful experience?
Yeah.
It sounds like something that would be really good at Dark Mofo.
Yeah.
If you did it, like you went there, it doesn't have a sustained lifespan, does it? You know, it doesn't have, it doesn't really have legs. Like for a concentrated time, if the catch is like, it's awful, going fine, but.
I think for 5 days. For 5 days, people would be like, does it really smell like shit? And then people would be rocking up, opening the door. Oh, God, this does stink like shit. And then, like, that's it. It's the word of mouth. It's like one rotation on TikTok, you know. And that's it. Restaurant's over. That's why it's closed down.
TripAdvisor, just be like, I'm confused. Like, just the most confused review. Like, if I was supposed to be disgusted, 5 stars. But if not, awful. Like,
I mean, it's an ex-adult film star as well, so Googling to find out where that restaurant is would be a very treacherous territory.
Who is it?
There might be a whole, what do you call them, subgroup or even a group out there that really listening to us talk about this go like, that sounds brilliant to me. Like I would be the target audience for that.
Yeah.
It's the shock factor, right? It's the shock factor, something different. I mean, in a place like Japan as well, where there's competition every corner.
Yeah, exactly.
You need something to stand out. If that's standing out is the smell of shit permeating from the doorway as you open it. You know, some people might be into that.
And hell,
obviously not. But you know, some cultures actually like eat feces. Like that's part of their dietary intake.
Really?
Of certain animals. Yeah, there is. I couldn't tell you what they are. But I'm sure
you back this statement up. This is a big statement.
Yeah.
No, this is the internet. I back nothing up.
I've heard tell from across the pond that there be folk who enjoy a nibble on the poop.
Yes.
Yes. Who be these people? I have no idea. My mate Steve told me about them.
It's one of those things. Like I don't want to start throwing countries out in case it's considered. You know,
what do you suspect?
I think it's Asian regions will like, because I think what's beautiful about a lot of the Asian cultures is they'll eat anything. Not even Asian. Europeans do it as well. I mean, what's blood pudding? It's a delightful mix of all sorts of shit. Like using every part of the being, and I think a lot of cultures take that on board. Only certain animals you wouldn't eat. Like
so
shit.
I've travelled my fair way around the vast continent of Asia. And I've seen parts of it.
Have you?
Parts of it, and I've eaten many food. Well, so funnily enough, I was living in Laos, and I was working in a organization, and everyone there took really good care of me. And every now and then, we would have these shared lunches where they'd go off and someone would go to a market somewhere far, far away, and they'd bring back all this great, great food. And in our office, we'd spread it all out, and everyone would just be sitting around like sharing it. It was really wonderful. And then there was you had your regular kind of bits of chicken, your bits of fish, like your papaya salad, your sticky rice. I picked up some sticky rice, and he had this thing of green dip, and I was like, oh, so I picked up the sticky rice and I put it into the green dip, and then I ate the sticky rice, and then my colleague, Kampon, just starts laughing. And he's just like that's actually how he laughed. He had a really distinguishable laugh. It was a fantastic individual, Kampon. And he's and I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, oh, do you know what that is? And I'm like, no. He's like, it's shit. And I'm like, and he's like, no, it's actually shit. And I'm like, oh, what? And anyway, it's called,
I told you,
piak, right? But this is the thing. Piak isn't shit.
No.
Piak isn't shit, but piak is the digested grass from the lower intestine. So it's just before, so it's just further up the channel. So it hasn't quite got there yet. It's
pre-shit.
It's just been fermented. It's just been digested, and it's just been like broken down. And from a sustainability point of view, it's all about eating all of the animal that you've just killed. You've just killed this big buffalo, so now you've got to eat all the animals. So they're like, oh, what's this green stuff down here? Then it actually tasted pretty good. I had a little bit of a bitter taste, but it actually tasted quite nice. The old piak.
Fair enough.
So,
does it have
so it
nutritional value?
Oh, very nutritional. It's like any wheatgrass.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I never did any research into that whatsoever.
Yeah,
it was just literally eating grass. So I'm assuming. It has nutritional value.
Same.
That's why people kind of like, can I put this through a processor, just do a shot? I don't need to kill the whole thing just to get to this.
Is that still a thing, wheatgrass? Like I feel like I haven't seen it. It's been a while since I've been to Boost Juice, but like I feel like the wheatgrass phase has kind of died out. It's still kicking on.
I think it's still around there a little bit, but I don't think it's not the craze it once was. It's not the craze it once was. The people drinking wheatgrass may not be dead, but the business has sold it.
That's right. Yeah. You will live forever. The business won't.
See, so Ben, I rest my case. People eat shit. See, I just proved it via Rob.
I actually wanted to know where you were thinking. I was like, where does this? But yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, now, gents,
Liam,
what are we thinking? Like, this is. I'm racking my brain trying to go through all the places I've traveled to around the world to try and think of something disgusting that I've eaten or something that's tasted horrible. I've only got like 2 or 3 that are popping to my noodle. What about you guys? How are you guys feeling?
I've got 3 options rattling around in my brain, and none of them are piak. I'm just going to say.
No, it sounded delicious.
It actually was pretty good. But I've got 3 options. I could go. Okay. I haven't been first for a while, but unless Ben, did you have anything jumping out?
Oh, so this is what is it? It's the grossest food.
The worst tasting food.
Worst tasting food.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And we need 3.
No, just one.
No, you need one.
Just one.
You just need one.
Well, see,
you got 5 minutes, but you don't have to use all 5 minutes. We've made this rule since you were last year. 5 minutes is the maximum. If you can get your point across in less than 5, that's dope.
you can call it. You can retire early.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But give me a second. I'm just going to get my timer up while we're talking about this so I don't forget, because I do that. Okay. So, but you don't have to spend it, and you don't have to go first either, Ben. If you need some time to think about this,
I know which one I think. I just don't like. I'm like, okay, like.
Well, do you want to jump in, or we can go? I think I've got mine.
Yeah,
Rob.
So I've got 3 options in my head, so I'm happy for you guys to go first, and then if you steal it, I can fall back on another one.
You go first, right. Liam, and then.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah. I'm going to start my time. My 5 minutes begins right about now. Okay, so I can think of a lot of different stories, and I don't want to rattle them off in case I step on someone else's toes. But when I think of the most disgusting food, there's only really one that kind of sticks out in my brain, and it is from the lovely land of Japan, and it's going to be divisive because this is used for a lot of medicinal purposes. It's considered to be very good for your health in Japan, but it tastes like absolute garbage. Pardon me. And that food is natto. Now, Rob, did you try natto when you were in Japan?
I did. Pretty sure I tried
Ben,
it with
have you ever had?
I don't.
Potentially. I might have been like pranked you with it, potentially. Ben, have you had natto?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, natto is something that most Japanese people eat on the daily basis, like for breakfast on rice. Essentially, it's fermented soybeans, but they're fermented in like the bacteria that you find in the gut of living animals.
Right.
Now, this thing has an aroma that you oh boy. So you open up the pack and you're hit with this waft of like the smell of rotting socks and garbage, and it just doesn't smell overly pleasant. And that's the initial introduction into natto. Then you move into the next part, which is when you're actually getting the chopsticks to get it out of the container. Now, some people might have it on rice. I know that having it with a raw egg is quite popular, which just makes it even worse. But essentially, you pick it up with a chopstick, and you actually have to, I'll get my hands in front of the camera here, get the chopsticks in, and you have to pick it up, out, and then just do this with it. The reason you have to do this is because the slime that's on the outside of it, you need to kind of catch it and wind it up like spaghetti before you put it in your mouth. Now, that's the smell. That's what it looks like, but it's not the taste. The taste is something that I think is different for every single person. Like, it's one of those love it or hate it foods. I reckon most Japanese people love it because they grew up with it. As a foreigner with a foreign tongue to Japan, I was shocked. It hit my face and I was like, fucking hell. It was just like, it tasted like the smell, but also had this really kind of, that bitter that you get when it hits the back of your tongue, and you cannot for the life of you get rid of that fucking taste. That's what it's like. And you're there, you're kind of reaching it up, you're like, okay, put it in your gullet. And I'm pretty sure that's why they eat it fast, because they hate it too, but they're saying that it's good. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing they get. But it tastes like old cheese. It tastes like old blue cheese. It tastes like it's literally been sitting there for about 12 years. It tastes like the bacteria that you would expect it to taste like. It's really kind of you got this really repulsive, kind of gut punch of a taste it's really hard to describe. Like, it's a little bit nutty. That's probably its most redeeming feature, right? It's got a little bit of a nutty aftertaste to it. But to get to that, you have to literally fight through all of the gaiju in Japan to get to this taste of nuttiness at the end, which is really nice. Now, I use this as a prank. Every time I go to Japan, I try and get everyone who's been there for the first time. I'm like, hey, this is really good. It's a delicacy. Everyone loves it here. You should definitely try it. And without fail, not a single person that I've given it to has been like, oh, thank you very much. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. It's been like, what the fuck are you doing to me? What is this? What is this? And I don't know. I don't really have much more to say about it because it's really hard. This is going to be a tough one because trying to describe the taste is not going to do it justice. Do you know what I mean? Like, trying to describe to you what natto tastes like, it's just not going to allow you or dear listener to really kind of gather it and really kind of taste it. But think of old socks, garbage, rank blue cheese, which is already kind of ranked to begin with. And that combined with the smell and the texture, the texture is fucking horrible. All together just makes for this absolutely this concoction of disgusting. And I swear people don't like it. I guarantee people don't like it. The only reason they say they like it is because apparently it has really good health benefits. And so they force themselves to like it. That's what I reckon. And that's all I'm going to say about natto. That's it. Natto. Wow. That's my answer.
Natto. Well, I've eaten
natto fan.
And natto, I'm not a natto fan. No.
I was only 7 seconds from the end. All right, go me.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
Perfect timing. Smashed it, mate. Smashed it.
Thank you.
Yes, it's not particularly. It's not a very nice thing. However, I've got my friend Ben who's been living in Japan for a while. He's done about 10 years there now, and he loves it. He loves natto. I was talking to him on a video.
Did he always love it, or did he acquire
it? Well, he's eating it now.
Is it one of those things? Is it one of those acquired tastes, or is it like Vegemite or that
disgusting.
really divides people?
I
You
think it might be
love
that.
it, or you know.
I don't know though. I think natto is not one of those things.
I found it pretty. It was very strong. I think it is a bit like Vegemite. I think Vegemite's a good comparison point because if you haven't been raised on it, I think it's not for you. And when you've been raised on it, like me and Liam recently, on our last trip, we met. What was the name of that woman we met at the hostel? Because she grew up in America, but to Japanese family, and she loved natto. Sorry,
M? Was it M? Or was it M?
She loved it. I think so. I think if you're raised on it, you are. And I think Ben wasn't raised on it. But what exactly is an acquired taste? Because flavor is not something I wish to acquire. It's either good. Like I'm not like, oh, that's disgusting. But if I just eat this for another 5 years, I'm going to push through, and it's going to be good.
I feel like that,
I think the phrase
with beer though. I feel like as a kid, seeing adults at parties and just kind of going, man, they love this stuff. It must be the tastiest thing ever. And when I first tried beard, When I first tried beard, I was just a boy. I was 5 and this happened. I tried beard. When I first tried beard, my sort of taste buds were geared towards Coke, sweets, lollies, it was that sort of 100%. Thing. That was my idea of, and then I really feel like beer has been an acquired taste because now I love it, but I'm like, I still don't go, it's more the feeling it gives me when I kind of go, like it can be tasty, but it's not tasty in the way like a cocktail is or something like that,
Sure.
Same with whiskey. I think I've sort of acquired that taste over the years. I've grown to kind of love quite a few whiskeys, but
spice. I've acquired the ability to eat spice, and simply because like there's been enough occasions in my life where I couldn't avoid it, where I used to avoid it, but then it happened enough that eventually I started to go, I built a slight tolerance to it. Do you know what I mean? So but that's also embedded within the food. Like spices is embedded within food. So if you're like, I want a slice of that pizza, but it's got jalapenos, it's like, well, I guess I'll just eat the pizza. I mean, maybe that wasn't the best example because you can just pick the jalapenos off the pizza. But you see my point. And but a nice refreshing glass of beard, that'll put hairs in your face.
Plenty of hair on this. I don't know what that means, but
drink your beard up, lad. It'll put hairs in your face. Drink your beard up.
That boy needs to beard up, I tell you. Sort him out. Give him a good beard up. Give him a good bearding. He's only 7.
He's got to learn one day.
Never too young to start. Never too young to start.
Right. I was down to pit. I was bearding a 5-year-old.
Oh man!
What were you saying before?
That's mine, gents.
Oh yes, so that's you. Well, I could go next because I feel like mine's going to be really short.
Go for it, Ben.
Oh,
although
okay, Ben. 1 second.
Is there liquid? Can that be the food?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. The rank is worst tasting food.
Yeah.
But there are some liquids that can be justified as food.
Oh God.
You're playing a dicey game there, Ben. You have to argue with the point.
Yeah,
there's not a blender involved.
No, yeah, that's right. So you put meat that's 5 days over, like it's too old. It's just petrol. Mix it together.
A pinch of beard.
That's solidified petrol.
Just a pinch of beard. Just a graze.
A pinch of virgin's beard, though. Virgin's beard.
Well, but we can force Rob to go next if you want, Ben.
No, I kind of want to go next because
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So are you ready? Are you ready?
No, maybe you go next, Rob.
Okay, Rob's going next. Rob is going next.
Yeah.
Yes. Rob.
Oh my God.
You're Here we go. Your 5 minutes begins now. Begin.
I'm still rattling around these options in my head. And one of them, I think, is going to be an honorable mention. Well, two of them are going to have to be an honorable mention. I'm going to have to go with one. Just because I think
That's how this works.
because I think it is legitimately the worst tasting thing on the planet, and it's durian.
Oh, durian's great.
Yeah, that divides people.
Durian's great. Durian is disgusting. Disgusting. Durian's it looks attractive. It's like an attractive person that's got really bad BO. You're like, oh, they look very nice. And you go up to them and you're like, oh, gosh, that stinks. Then it's like they've taken a good piece of fruit, a piece of fruit with potential, and they're just like I don't know what they've done.
You're too pretty. There needs to be the counterbalance. You can't have it all. You're exotic looking. You need to smell like shit.
Yeah, exactly right. You look good, but you've just got nothing to say. You've got no character, durian.
You've got no character.
So then you bite into it, and it's one of those ones where it deceives. Like the first half a second, you're like, oh, there's that sweetness. But then there's that undercurrent of stinky, stenchy, off, sweaty, rotten fruit. And it is literally like you've mentioned socks. This is like eating the feet that have caused the bad smelling socks. Like this is just like there's just this stench to it, like which is just wrong. It's like fruit that's past its use by date, and there's never anything kind of good to ever come out of it. And that's only if you get to the eating phase, because normally the smelling phase is enough to kind of put you off. So if you want to acquire this taste, you've got to go through two assaults of your senses. So it's terribly smelling, it's terribly tasting, and the worst part about durian is that people try to force it on you because it's a fruit, and that's the thing. Like if someone gave me some natto, some beans, some slimy beans, I'm like, oh, that looks like a risk. I'm not going to take it. But like someone's like, would you like a durian in your fruit salad? I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. It's good fruit salad. Like it's an appealing thing.
Deceptive.
So you can kind of accidentally walk into the durian trap. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, I've got durian in my mouth. This is disgusting. And nothing seems to wash it away, because it's like one of those things, like the taste of durian, like the really stinky, stenchy stuff. Like it's like it grips to the side of your mouth like tar, and like you always have to brush your teeth to really get rid of the taste. And the first time I ever tried it was purely accidental, when someone made me a smoothie for my birthday, a birthday smoothie, and I was like, like, I hope you like durian. And I was like, well, I've never had it before. And then I pulled the smoothie up to my face, and I caught a whiff of it, and I was like, oh, but like it was a birthday present, right? So it was a birthday present, so I had to be like,
can't say no.
Oh, thank you.
Say no.
I've never had durian before. And then I start to sip it. I'm like, maybe it's not too bad. And then I start to sip it, and it is like, it's like sipping the piss of a drunken sailor. It's been eating too many olives, basically. I'm like, ugh.
Oh no!
And I'm starting to really hold the line, and not be rude. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much. Look, I won't drink it all right now. I'll save some for later. And then she walked away, and then I tipped it away, in a convincing, sly manner. But like just horrible. And I swear my house smelled for weeks of durian after that incident. I was like, bloody hell!
It lingers.
Like I had to have showers. Like I had to. It was just like, yeah. Anyway, durian. Disgusting.
Is that your time? Are you gonna call it there?
I'm just going to say that, I normally trust Mother Nature, but I think that the invention of durian was Mother Nature on a bad day. It was just like, we're going to give you bountiful foods and many things of life that will give you pleasure and joy and beauty. But just as a reminder to not take things for granted, I'm going to put a little durian around the world, just in case. Just in case you ever think you're above me. Mother Nature was like, you know what? No, we're going to put some durian out there as well, because it's not all oranges and apples out there.
Well done. Well, all right. Okay. I'm going to stop you there. It's 20 seconds left. It's all done. I fucking love durian.
You're a freak.
I walk past the shop with durian smell. I'm like, oh, they've got durian, and I'll go in and I'll get some. Like it's one of those things. The first time, I will admit, the first couple of times I was like, That smells fucking disgusting. But then when we were younger, we used to go to Penang as a family quite a lot, and they had durian everywhere there. Go to Singapore, they had durian everywhere there. And I acquired a taste for it.
And the smell for this. There must just
I don't mind the smell.
That's what I mean. Oh,
yeah.
Apparently this is the thing with like vitamin C as well. Do you know this? Like I used to I used like a cream that had vitamin C in it, and Mel hated it. Could not stand it. Was like, oh, it smells disgusting. And I was like, what? It's just like moisturizer or whatever. But she looked it up and she was like, apparently, look, internet, help me out with this. I don't know if this is real. I'm not calling my girlfriend a liar, but she does lie. Sorry, baby. She. But yeah, she said apparently that's a thing, and it's so weird. It's like how a smell to a certain part of the population smells delightful, lovely, and then other people are like just cannot stand it.
It's funny how that works though, right?
Smell of durian.
Good.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. At the start, I was definitely offended by it, but then as I've gone to those places a bit more, I don't know. I've come to like it. One second. Love durian. No, it's a funny one because I figured that might make an appearance tonight, and because it is one of those the smell is not pleasant. I'm not saying it's like a good smell, but it's one of those smells like, how can I best okay? The only description I can think of. Have you guys ever like picked the belly button lint out of your belly button?
Yeah.
And just been like, that smells fucking weird.
Wait,
that smells weird.
I was ready for the first half of that description.
Yeah, exactly.
I have picked out lint of my belly button.
Don't even. You guys do it all the time.
I'm never picking it. Sure, yeah. Like, oh yeah, can't get enough of that. I don't need to smell it. Oh, straight in. If it smelled bad, I wouldn't need it.
I know it was a bad example because people are going to be listening going, what the fuck is he talking about? Who does that? What I was trying to go for is that the smell of it's not good. Exactly right. The smell of it's not great, but it's also like there's a certain appeal to it. That's weird. I'm sorry. That was a weird thing to say, but I said it, so it's on there. It's done.
But the worst thing is that I had 3 options in my head, and then I'm like, okay, option 1, option 2. No, I'm going to go with option 3, durian. And I'm like, durian. And then you're like, oh, I love durian. And I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
Battle to the death, my man.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with my first choice, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
It's certainly but same with like durian. It's like not everyone. You know, it's got to be.
It's another divisive one. Well, this is the thing. Natto is very divisive. Durian is divisive. Although I think more people would lean towards the more disgusting side for durian. Oh no, and natto, but I think there's a bigger population. But Mr. Ben, your 5 minutes. Shall I begin it?
Begin.
Consider it begun.
The most foul tasting food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, celery.
Yeah. Oh my God. Really?
Absolutely disgusting.
Wow.
Atrocious. Filthy.
Whoa.
Round up the celery farmers. Bang. I don't want to be, some say harsh, I say fair. Wow. And what a useless vegetable. No nutritional value, or very little, next to none. What's the point? No calorie. I mean, every time, and I have tried with this. It's like a bad relationship I've kept going back to and tried it and gone like, God, no. It's like something happens in my face, in my mouth when I try to eat that. It's the crunch. The crunch happens and it just releases just untold atrocities in my mouth. Like,
wow,
it's disgusting.
Really?
I cannot deal with it. Cannot deal with it at all. I think the only way in which I've been able to have it is in maybe a soup, but that was because it was like loaded with salt or whatever.
Wow.
So the consistency, but the
yeah.
crunch and whatever happens, when that crunch happens in my mouth, my body just rejects it wholeheartedly. Just goes like, nah, not for it.
Not up for it.
Is there anything within the taste though? Like,
the taste
what's the taste?
The taste is just it tastes like, to me, it reminds me of if you've ever chewed like paracetamol or kind of like anything that's quite kind of a chemically chalky sort of just. It's maybe not chalky, but the reaction to it, where you kind of go, oh, that doesn't taste great.
Tastes like STEMmy. It's
yes,
STEMmy.
it just as soon as the crunch happens, it releases. I guess so. It's evil, is what it is.
It looks like a STEM.
Should be banned.
Pure evil.
I think the reason it's got any
selling it in
credibility.
corners, like in grocery stores.
The only way it's ever got any credibility, maybe, I think, is simply because it can be cut into a stick. Like, if celery couldn't be cut into a stick, there's like the convenience of it, you know? And it gives carrots a bad name, frankly. Like, because they always put them in tandem. They're always like, oh, we'll put out the carrot and the celery sticks. And you're like, celery sticks are fine. Like, why are you wasting my time with these celery sticks? Is it just because you can cut it up into a stick? You unimaginative, boring cook?
It is. Well, it's cheap too, right? Like, it's just cheap. It's such a nothing vegetable. It's got no character whatsoever. It really doesn't. It's like, who invited celery to the party? Like, oh, fuck off. No, mate, I don't want to. Oh, it would just be the most insipid, wet person you'd ever met when you're like, oh.
Cheap and tasteless.
All right, said, fuck off, mate.
Oh, no, not celery. Who invited celery?
But this is how bad it is even with dips, even with the dip tray and all that stuff, even trying to mask it and disguise it, no way. It's like goes off like it's in an X-ray or something. I'm just kind of like, nah. It's honestly, I know some people like it, but I have a physical reaction to it. Like, cannot do it. And I eat most vegetables, but something in that just really, really,
triggers you.
Do you think you're most offended by the fact that it hasn't taken a position on anything? Like, it tastes like sometimes someone comes out with an opinion when they're a strong opinion, you're like, well, at least they've got an opinion, you know? Like, as opposed to like celery is kind of just blowing in the wind, like it's a real fence sitter of a flavour, you know? And it's just like, stand for something, damn it.
You guys have seen Hamilton, yeah?
No.
There's a bit in that where one of the guys that's why he kind of messes this guy. I think Aaron Burr his name, but it's something like that where he's kind of like, he doesn't stand for anything. That's who that is. That's celery right there. Takes no position or no point on anything. Fuck him. Or her. All right, I'll be gender neutral with this. Celery, fuck you. How about it's useless vegetable, no taste, icky taste as well, and like you said, makes carrots look bad.
I think I swear it's just because
else to say about celery.
I think I rest my case.
I wonder if this is something to do, like similar to coriander or cilantro. There's like a genetic disposition to not liking it.
That's right.
Because to me, celery is like, I agree with the fact that it's not very offensive and has no opinions because it just tastes like water to me. Do you know what I mean? There's no like offensive taste, whereas you obviously get a really visceral, offensive taste by it, which is what some people get from cilantro or from coriander.
I thought I was eating it wrong. Like, you kind of go, I must be eating this wrong or something. Because
what do you mean?
Because everyone, I must be eating this wrong or something. Because everyone just seems to be really into this, and I'm like, thanks. Am I eating this wrong? Should I be nibbling instead of like chewing? Like, what am I doing?
Supposed to lick it? Am I supposed to like suck it first for a while? You know, like a gobstopper?
Like wring it out, or like. But every time you have no idea, especially when, like, if you've been trying to lose weight in the past or whatever, and people are like, celery is great, it has less than no calories, or that sort of thing. Try or even just like at parties, hors d'oeuvres, whatever it is, finger food. Celery comes around, I gave it a red hot go. It's like a person you just don't like. When everyone else kind of goes, no, they're all right, and you're like, no, not into them. I've tried.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is this still working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Can you hear us?
The battery just went off on these. But it's like that. It's like, I can't get on board with it. I've tried so many times, and each and every time my body just went, no, you're not into this.
Can I do it?
There's no acquiring There's no acquiring that one. Ben.
That's right. It was like,
acquiring
just look at your face right now. Like,
Whoa. But three very interesting choices. But do you guys have any like some honorables? I've got some honorables.
I've got some big,
for sure.
I've got some big time honorables.
Oh, yeah.
I had an honourable.
Go on, Ben.
Well,
As the guest, Ben.
Just like curdled milk, even though it's not food.
Ooh.
It was like curdled, chunky off milk.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you...
Who's given that to you, though?
You know, if you like... and I had some that was off a little while ago because I was like working with my dad. And there were two things of like fresh milk. And I'd obviously just picked up the wrong one that had been there over the weekend and put it in this tea, drank the tea and went, oh, like, that's no good. Like, you knew it instantly. You were like, that's not how milk tastes. But
did you notice when you poured it out, all the lumps and stuff coming out of the carton? Or not?
This one wasn't lumpy. It was just off. But I'm thinking about times in the past where, you know, if you've had like tried, you know what I mean? Like you only need to have it the once, I think. For it to
never
be
again.
To kind of go like putrid. But it's not a food.
Definitely.
It's not a food.
I wanted to shout out galut. You know, the Filipino egg, the little balut has the little bird in the egg.
Yeah.
And
I nearly went that one.
You nearly went that one.
I nearly went that one.
That's an acquired taste. That's an acquired taste.
Rob, I know you and I have had that. Have you had that, Ben?
No, I've seen it. I think.
Oh boy.
There's
very close to it.
There's also
it's a weird one. The taste isn't terrible, but it's the idea of what you're eating that really just takes it to the next level. Yep. Like, you know, what's like a half
born.
Chicken. Half embryo wise. I'm making words up now.
It's the idea of it that's the hardest part of it. When you actually eat it, it's not that bad. But it's the idea of it, I think. And the one for me personally is
the one I had before you move on. The one I had, they said don't eat the beak. That's what they said to me. And as soon as they said don't eat the beak, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I cracked it open, and sure enough, this little thing had a little beak. And you don't eat that too hard, and probably not very tasty. Sorry, Rob.
Isn't it crazy though? It's like, you know, like months before that, I'm like cracking 3 eggs in the go. Like, ching, great.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing though. That's the thing. We eat eggs all the time. We eat chicken all the time.
Timing is everything, fellas. Timing is everything.
Yeah, that's true. Right. It's true.
Absolutely.
Too late. Damn it. Cryptos and eggs. Right. Damn it. Too late. Left them both too late. Fuck.
I'm paying for it now.
I'm eating this beak. So the other one was this.
Don't eat the beak.
Don't eat the beak.
Never eat the beak. Don't eat the beak. No.
So the other one for me was one I stumped. So there's, and this is also divisive because in Sichuan province, it's very, very popular and a lot of people like it. It's the Sichuan pepper. It's the tongue-numbing seed, which is a really strong, tangy taste, and I just can't. I can't stomach. I had a bad experience in Xi'an, and I was like, I walked to the, basically it's the beginning of the old Silk Road. Like you go and there's a little shopping, like basically a shopping market, an outdoor market, and it's where it all started, you know, going back thousands of years. And I was really excited to go there, and I heard a lot about the food. So I was like, oh my God. And I was so overwhelmed about the food that I didn't know where to start. So I got this little, like a fried pancake thing, and it was fried with Sichuan pepper, tongue-numbing seed. And I had no idea, and I bit into it. And it was just this like it was just this. I don't want to say anything disparaging.
That was your tongue dying.
My whole face was dying. My spirit to live. My spirit to live. My zest was dying.
Zest for life, leaving.
And it was just too much. And I think because it came up on me so unexpectedly, it left me with a little bit of a scar. And the third shout out I want to shout out is not a food, which is why I didn't go with it, but it's a drink. And I guess this is the thing about all this stuff, right? Like when you're raised with it, it's not too bad. Like when you're raised on it, people seem to really like it. Like I eat lots of Vegemite and people are like, that's disgusting, you know, that's gross. But for me, it's the best thing ever. In Canada, I've got a lot of Canadian friends and they all love clamato juice, which is clam and tomato juice And it's like a really popular juice to have in the fridge. Have some Clamato, and everyone just loves to have some Clamato. And it is just like
what?
And my
take clam, take tomato, and you've got the worst thing in the fucking world.
You've got calamity. That's what that is.
calamity juice. I don't want. But
Jesus.
Neither of those juices are good in the first place. Like tomato juice isn't good in the first place.
Clam juice is pretty good.
Clam juice. If it wasn't for all those tomatoes, you've just ruined a perfectly good clam juice there. Damn it. I was saving that clam juice. Saving that clam juice for later.
Want to pop round for a clam juice? Yeah. Just having some fellas over, get together, a bit of clam juice, you know.
Like men.
I'll
Like
go
men
crazy.
do.
I'm with you on tomato as well. Like, I don't mind tomatoes, but I can't do tomato soup.
I like tomatoes.
Or
See, tomatoes for me. If we'd done this podcast like 10 years ago, I would have been like, tomatoes would be my number one. But they've since grown on me. I can deal with the tomato now. But yeah, tomato soup and tomato juice. No, I agree. A Bloody Mary, I cannot do.
No, I can't. That's another thing I've tried. Because at certain times it feels like it would be like just like this is perfect for this occasion, but no.
Yeah,
but isn't the core ingredient of a Bloody Mary? Isn't there a certain stick? A stick like vegetable sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that tradition?
Exactly. See, that's
bring me
one of those. Might as well pour off milk in it as well. It's like, there you go, mate.
Enjoy.
That's an icebox. That's a pile of beaks at the bottom of the glass. So just for you, it's a pile of beaks, just the chilled beaks, frozen beaks. We froze them so they were cold, and then put them in your Bloody Mary with your celery stick.
Have you watched? I don't want to get off topic, but it's kind of on topic. But that show, like Addicted to Food or whatever.
No, I have not.
There was one, and look, this guy, it was obviously a challenge for him. But the opening credits were hilarious because it's got this like Geordie, this bloke from Newcastle in England. And he sort of does this thing where he's like, oh, this is Brian. He's 26, a panel beater from wherever, he loves walking on the beach and hanging with his kids and his wife. But for 26 years, Brian has been hiding a dark secret. Brian is addicted to cheese. I'm not joking. That's how it starts. And Brian, they're like, so what do you like, Brian? Like, what do you eat? Goes, a bit of red Leicester, bit of cheddar, roots, lovely. And the whole it's an intervention where they're like, and the wife, she's there, she's like, Brian, I think that's his name. She's like, Brian, the kids are older now. We were at so-and-so's wedding and you had to go outside with your plate of cheese while we had a roast dinner. And the poor guy, like he was, it was obviously affecting his life and the people around him, but his mum as well. Like she was like, oh, Brian, I'm sorry, love, it's my fault. Like I shouldn't have let you, but you weren't going to have it. You was going to eat your cheese. And then she goes, I wish you could come and have a proper meal with me and the kids, like when we go to McDonald's. I was like, what? Like, go to Macca's, have a proper meal. But I only saw a couple more of them.
Have a proper meal, Brian. Come to Macca's, have a proper meal. He's like, all right, it's time I finally turn the tables here. He goes in, like, what do you want? He looks at the menu, there's cheeseburger. He's like,
like, I take
14 cheeseburger, please.
Hold the bun, hold the meat, just the cheese. Love it. Just hot cheese on your hand. It was fascinating, though, that show. I should look it up because it was. And hiding a dark secret. He's addicted to cheese.
There's a good moral tale at McDonald's, though, because he turns to his left and he sees the cheeseburglar. And it's like, this is what you could be, Brian. This is what you could be. If this gets out of hand, sooner or later, you'll be stealing cheese, just like the cheeseburglar.
The secret midnight cheese raider. It's like, Brian.
Well, do you reckon Brian... Do you reckon Brian would be so addicted to cheese that he could eat kasumaru, which is
Brian
that
couldn't
cheese
eat any other food. They did a whole bunch of experiments to sort of go, is it just, can you eat it melted or?
Hear it out, Ben. Kasumaru, I think I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. It's a pecorino cheese from Italy that is just infested with maggots.
Oh.
And
No, I
that's
don't
like a
think he could.
delicacy.
He wouldn't. He'd still
No,
eat
good.
it, but he'd be crying as he was doing it. He'd be, I can't believe I've fallen. Can't believe I've fallen to this level.
There's no way the cheese around. I must have doesn't matter.
I wish I could go and get a proper meal at McDonald's.
I had that the other day for the first time. It was great. Put the cheese
I
directly
really
into
enjoyed
my
it.
hand.
Sorry,
I'll
anyway,
check-
We have to rank.
check
That's
that
okay, that's okay.
show out. It's
It's good. It's good.
you can't,
I'll
you
check
can't
out a couple of
all
my. I won't. I'll check in a couple of honorable mentions for myself, and then we'll get into the business end of the stick.
this. Yeah.
So a couple for me. Rob, remember in Okinawa, and there was that vegetable that we had like at every meal. I think it was called goya, and it was It was this green vegetable that looked kind of like celery actually when it was cut up. Like it had like a half moon shape to it. And this thing was the fucking worst tasting thing in the world. It was like you were eating Bitrex, like the most bitter thing in the world. Just putting it into your mouth. Again, all its health benefits. All these health benefits allegedly.
Bitrex.
Bitrex is the stuff they put on batteries. So
Okay.
they used to put on Game Boy cartridges so the kids
Right.
wouldn't lick them. Like, it's this really bitter substance.
Brian's got to put it on his cheese now. He just covered in Bitrix. Just to start from eating it. Brian, don't make me bring out the Bitrix again.
Imagine that.
He'd still plow through it though, Brian. He'd still plow through it because Brian's a trooper. He's a trooper.
Just still forcing his way through it. Like, I'll show them.
And the other one I was going to say is, and I didn't choose this one because it's not really a food, is stevia. You guys know what stevia is,
Oh, yeah.
right?
The sweetener.
Is that sugar?
Sweet.
That sugar substitute? There is an aftertaste to that is just horrible. It tastes like it tastes disgusting, and it feels like it's like melting the inside of your mouth. Like it's horrible. It's horrible. Mum had a alcoholic-free espresso martini in her fridge, and I wasn't drinking because I was driving. Had one of those. I took the first sip. I was like, "Oh, that's not bad." Had the second sip, and it just the whole taste just changes. Like that first sip, okay. After that, it just destroys everything. Everything. So Stevie's my number 2. But anyway, that's only 2. Oh, surströmming. Has anyone had surströmming?
What?
Surströmming. It's a fermented fish from like Finland, Iceland, the Norse.
No.
Apparently, it's one of the.
But I'm pretty sure
apparently it's one
someone
of the
sent me a
worst
video of
tasting
them,
things.
of a bunch of guys sitting around trying to eat that the other day. And it looked really,
Yeah.
It took like 7 minutes. They kept getting closer, and then like people were literally gagging as they opened up the tin.
And put the word fermented into it, and you're probably looking at a bad time. That's usually the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, we've come to the business end of the stick. It is time for us to rank this evening. Now, who went last? Ben, you went last, or Rob? Ben went last.
Yes.
Ben went last. So Ben, you have to rank first, Ben.
Ben, you have to rank first,
Okay.
my friend.
So I basically just pick one, right? No?
This one, you choose a 3, 2, and 1. So you rank them from 1 to 3, 3 to 1. Get them done.
Okay. One being the best.
So who's your one? Of course, one's being the best.
Yeah,
of course, Ben.
So coming.
What's the most?
Right.
The most disgusting number 1.
I'm going to go with durian.
Jury number 1. Okay.
Yeah. I can relate to that. And you're right. It's not just the taste, because I don't know if I've ever properly tried it. The smell has been enough to keep me away from it.
Yeah.
I just
Power through it one time. Power through it one time. I want you to try it and just see how.
Yes, so they're just so heavily linked. You know, it's like
Why?
Sure.
Yeah. Why?
But that's why it's so surprising, because when you actually have it, you're like, oh, this is pretty good.
No,
Yeah.
just go to just go and buy an orange instead. Don't push yourself through, man. Anyway, durian first.
Just get celery.
I might choose mine next purely
Sure.
because I don't have any frame of reference for the food that you're talking about.
Natto, yeah.
Natto.
Yeah. And I didn't sell it as being disgusting.
Oh, no,
enough,
you did.
because
I believe it's
the
gross.
the idea of celery to you is just that it's just that deep embedded into your skull. Celery. Celery.
And the other thing is, I'm choosing myself second as well, because I know this is a me thing. I know that lots of people really enjoy celery.
100%.
I'm like, I'm like, but apparently it's quite, it's quite a nothing sort of like you know.
Oh, it is nothing. Yeah, 100%. I get you. I get you. It's a visceral reaction that you get to it that we don't, and that's
absolutely
that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
All right,
That's
Mr.
my
Rob.
rank.
What?
I am
Thank
going
you.
to I'm going to stick with durian as my number one, and I'm going to go. Ben, I am going to basically for that reason that you've just stated about celery being very much a you thing, because I put celery in my bolognese. Like I use a little bit of celery sometimes. I'll eat celery. Like I don't have the same visceral reaction you do. It's a bit of a nothing food for me, but it's not a. I'm not revolted by the idea of celery. So whereas I've eaten natto, and natto is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
As is durian.
Pretty rank.
That's the most rank. That's the title. The most rank food.
Yeah, the most ranked food.
That's right. We're ranking the most ranked food. And so therefore, it's a tiebreaker between durian and natto. And this is why this is my tiebreaker. I've never met a Japanese person that didn't like natto.
Oh, I have.
I haven't. Most of the people I've spoken to are like, "Oh, I love it. I love natto." And like even people that have gone there, like I say, Ben, who's acquired the taste, loves it. However, I like durian is divisive in Southeast Asia. It's just as divisive there as it is here. Like I knew a lot of Thai people when I was over there that did not like durian, and I knew people that love durian. My old boss, we pulled up next to a durian shop, and she goes, "Oh, keep driving. That's durian. Don't park here." Like so, it's very much so. It's not necessarily one that you just inherit by being born to. It's definitely something else going on, and it's for me. It's I could possibly be talked into trying natto again. I would never be talked into trying durian again. In fact, durian is like the devil. Like you put it, it's corruption. You just put one little piece of it into anything, and it just ruins. It just corrupts the whole thing. Like a.
You're wrong, but that's fine.
Like a mutation. So durian 1, natto 2, and then number 3 would be
and celery sticks. Yeah. So I once had a durian ice cream in Canberra. They had this really boutique ice cream place, and they had a durian ice cream. Fucking beautiful.
Sounds like you're trying to ruin ice cream to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd say that. Have you tried it?
That would be the only thing worse would be like a celery ice cream. I'd be like, get out of here.
Celery gelato.
Oh God!
Can you imagine a celery gelato? It'd be all watery. You'd be like, what the hell?
Oh no!
All right. Here we go. Here's my 3. In number 3 tonight, I'm sorry, Ben, it's celery. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. I quite enjoy celery, but I'm now wondering if it's like a genetic thing. I'm wondering if it is like a coriander kind of situation.
I think it absolutely is.
Must be. Must be.
But it still is an offensive vegetable to me. Yes. I can't stand useless things or people, and that's celery, quite frankly.
Which is fine.
A useless person eating celery is your worst.
I really do feel like the asshole who just doesn't like somebody that everyone else gets on with. It's just kind of like, he's fine. It's just like, no,
that's okay.
That fucking.
But there's probably a link there, Ben. There's probably a link there because that asshole that you don't like for no particular reason, you've probably walked into a party one day and you looked around and they were in the back corner eating a celery stick. And there was this deep subconscious kind of, I don't trust that guy. I just don't like that guy. And now people are like, why do you like that guy?
It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Tell you what. Okay, go on, Liam.
It in terms of like, not only that, but in terms of like the most disgusting out of the 3 that we said, I still think it's probably the least disgusting. But of course I am. Of course I am. It's all subjective.
I want people who are watching this to write in and show me your support. Like anti-celery.
Yeah. The anti-celery crew, the ACC.
Now is not the time to be silent. Come out of the shadows.
Oh man. Now, as mentioned, I quite enjoy durian, so I'm putting that number 2 only because I know that it is divisive and the smell is pungent and the taste is less pungent, but still pungent, still there. But I think still has got a bit of a charm. What doesn't have charm for me is natto. So I'm putting myself number one tonight, guys. I'm sorry, but like in terms of the 3, 2, 1,
No need to apologize.
Natto's pretty gross. Natto's pretty gross, but we have a winner. We do have a winner. I will go around the horn. Number 3 tonight, Mr. Ben. Nice. I like that.
Oh, have you got a horn?
No, I don't. But like, I can.
I'm going to get one. If you get me back on here again, I'm going to have it ready to go on my phone because I'll be like,
I can already see why this is going to go wrong because like through the episode, Ben's just going to release that horn at the most random times, and it's going to throw it off. We're talking about something really serious, and then it'll be like, oh, threw us all off. Thanks, Ben.
Don't know. It's just making me. So listen, guys, cancer. Guy, not the fucking time.
I've been going through a lot of emotional stress lately. Oh man,
that was a bad babow, right? It wasn't celebratory.
Listen to the cadence,
like that.
It's an active listening horn.
That's right.
Number two tonight was natto. Number 2 was natto this evening.
Yeah.
And number 1, the most disgusting food, Rob.
Durian.
Yeah. Incorrect, but that's correct. Yes, it's.
Wins. Congratulations, Rob. Do people?
Thank you.
Do people write in or get in touch with their worst
absolutely.
foods?
This is our desire. Everyone should get in touch with us and let us know what your favorite, the other one, least favorite, the worst tasting food is. Let us know in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Thank you, Ben. Good one. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm really
5 stars. 5 stars too.
5 stars. Give us all the 5 stars. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear your ideas. We want to hear your opinions. Let us know, goddammit. And if we want some ideas for the wheel, let us know. As always, Rob, congratulations for taking it on tonight's episode.
Thank you.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. Does anyone have anything
It slipped again. I'm sorry. What can I say? This keyboard. Whoa.
It was a butt horn. Butt horn. Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Final thoughts. Who's got them? Who's got a final thought for us?
Rob, you're the winner.
Oh, okay. Okay. Final thoughts. Well, I guess just to say we're all a bit different. And
it's true.
There's nothing more offensive than being unoffensive. So you may feel like you're a piece of durian. You may feel like you're a natto, but don't be afraid. There are people out there that love you. For everyone that maybe you think doesn't like you, there are people out there that love you. But the lesson we've learnt for today is just don't be like celery. Stick up for yourself, damn it. Stick up for yourself. That's all I've got. Personal taste is fine and great and, love the world. And, I can't do it as well as Ben.
No, Ben's got it down pat. It's on replay. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody.